The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, soft host. Once more in the breach, dear friends, on a market that is slightly down. We're off 6 points in the S&P cash. Volume is light at 1.8 billion shares, but we were expecting that. Most of the trading was over. We had a little bit of fun buying yesterday. That was pretty much it. It was over fairly quickly. We might have a few moments of fun buying come Monday morning. We'll talk more about that. But, we're off a little bit. Before we bounced a little higher than I thought we were. I thought maybe we'd close around 2065 on the S&P cash, so maybe 5 points higher than that. I think that's good enough for government work. It's interesting. And what you don't like to see is pushes up on light volume going into a 3-day weekend if you are bullish. That's one of the most bearish things that you can have in a summertime 3-day weekend. But we shall move on and persevere. Anyway, there's not a lot happening out here for the most part, but we will talk about what is. I've got probably a lot of news that I think is interesting for the day and in the future, and even maybe a little episode of some deep insights, because I had some emails and I said I would answer them today. And I think they shed a little light on why maybe my call on the market's a little different than a lot of other people's. But I digress. On this day, we almost forgot to play the song.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1890, in a backlash against monopolistic excesses of the robber barons, the Sherman Antitrust Act, authorizing the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate and break up giant industrial monopolies, it becomes law. Unions are thought of as illegal combinations, as are monopolies. The law is very expansive. I don't think a lot of people have ever read it, but it takes on unions. It took on restraint of trade by big companies. It took on monopolizing trade, illegal combinations, forfeiture of money if you did it, and the beginnings of a lot of the laws and the way that we conduct business with foreign nations. It had a profound effect and still does, although it is used lightly. It is a big stick, and the government doesn't try to use it too often. I think they started using it originally. The big one everybody talks about is the oil companies, and that was probably the biggest use of it. AT&T later on in the 70s to bust it up. Microsoft. Normally, it's enough now to threaten it that you can throttle a company without breaking them up. But a lot of different stuff happened over the years. And, of course, I think they busted up a lot of the railroads early on. And that's, in fact, where a lot of this happened, because you could lock up the business on your railroad and charge whatever you wanted. You were a de facto monopoly, and people would sign up and, before the eminent domain laws, would lock up the only routes that would get to certain cities. And, of course, you could charge anything you wanted. People had to pay it, and that was the root of all evil. But on this day in 1890, monopolies and the monopoly man. I always liked that monopoly man. I never actually saw a guy that had a perfectly round face, but you get the idea, I guess. Same year as GE was founded, yeah. But we'll talk about that later. We're going to talk about GE later in news out here. So we'll continue on. The Eurozone off a little bit. DAX closed down a little over 7/10. FTSE up 3/10. And the French CAC 40 almost down at 8%. Kind of quiet, actually, going into what may be big fireworks on Monday. Asia, the Nikkei was up about 1%. Shanghai down 3.5%. The Hang Seng basically flat, up 0.1%. My guess is we're going to see more fireworks from that come tomorrow and Monday, especially tomorrow overnight, because I guess, well, of course, we're closed. I think they're going to try to get some stuff done over there in Asia. Very mixed moves out there, because one of the biggest traders on Wall Street, or around Wall Street for a long time, Sir John Templeton, was calling for a major bottom, and the market was only going to go up. And of course, the Shanghai promptly went down 3.5% on his call yesterday night, and through this morning. Markets don't really care what you have to say too much. They're more than willing to humble you the instant you make a call. But he's been around a long time. Probably one of the most interesting things, because we're not going to have the Tech Insider Hour this week, are a few things. But just before airtime today, I saw this going across the wires. And the U.S. government's getting pretty serious about big-time hackers. There is a gentleman that lives in a small town on the Black Sea, who probably, I don't know, it's hard to say, somewhere between $20 and $30 million made by creating a thing called a botnet, that is basically infecting your computer and turning it against others. He made a lot of money getting credit cards, and was rather famous. But they've been slowly, every couple of months, moving the reward for his capture and repatriation to the United States to presumably spend the rest of his life in jail. They know where he lives. Of course, the Russians are not going to cough him up. If he would accidentally, he likes to sell a big 100-foot sailboat around. If he would accidentally get in international waters, they may catch him. He's very careful about that. But now at $4.5 million, the United States has kind of said, we're just going to keep moving that up until someone throws him in a duffel bag and brings him here to the United States. And anybody that wants to be in that similar business of hacking and committing computer fraud, we're going to go Old West on our ass, as they would say in the movies these days. Maybe it's another Templeton. Maybe it's the fund that John Templeton says. Steve Rhodes said he died several years ago. I just saw the Templeton thing on it. You see, I thought he was still alive. We'll have to check that out during the break to make sure. I thought he was still around. Calls from the grave. Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be his. I just saw Templeton and was thinking about him. I think it's got to be the Templeton funds. Well, I'm told he is deceased. He's joined the choir invisibule. He is an ex-traitor. Well, we'll have to remember that. Maybe it was the son. Is the son got the same name? Someone said Martin Mobius. Okay, maybe that's what I saw and just didn't really catch it. But we will move on. Germany says, of course, there will be no Greek bailout talks today. And Mr. Varoufakis is out shooting his mouth off a great deal today with little or no effect. But come Sunday night, I suspect we're going to see a lot of movement in these markets. Now, of course, if you look at the VIX, with very little movement, and even the S&P's up 10 points, the VIX was moving up fairly strongly going into this weekend. A lot of people are, normally you get people either buying gold or buying crude, and either one of those things is a good bet now. And they've actually been forced to short the S&P futures for protection over the weekend. And I think that kind of shows you a little bit of difference in what people think is happening. But normally you see, a market where they're pushing, we're up 27 cents on crude, so no one's piling into that for the long weekend. We also see gold off $5.40 at 11.63. People aren't piling into it for protection, at least in the United States. And maybe this is the way that they are going to start doing. But it's kind of the first weekend where I've actually seen big movement in the futures markets. And it looks to me like they're buying protection. I would imagine that VIX would drop probably a 1.5 points come Monday morning if we just open up at the same price. So look for that to probably have a big pop down come up Monday morning. Even if we open up flat, even if we open up a little down, I suspect that VIX will pop down as it looks to me like a lot of protection is being bought. I suspect that that will unravel on Monday and that we will continue our move down on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think maybe we get a couple of flat days and then see a lot more. I think a lot can be said about the lack of any movement in fund buying here, but we'll talk about that more. Putin has announced, I guess he didn't really announce. The Ukraine announced on Tuesday the immediate suspension of all Russian gas purchases following a breakdown of price negotiations. That area of the world may really start warming up again as Putin continues to try to push and finagle some power over there, especially with the grains markets moving into the Ukraine. We might see additional movement based on, looks like some saber rattling from Putin, but it looks like Ukraine just called it off saying we're not going to pay your prices. What would be very interesting to me is whether or not we ever get all those gas tankers and start getting our natural gas over there at a lower price and start helping the Ukrainians out, battle the evil Mr. Putin. Men can't trade. Very interesting study came out. I saw this last night that says that hormones, mostly testosterone, I can't even say it. Why can't I say it today? Testosterone, and cortisol may destabilize financial markets by making traders take more risks, according to a study. I don't know how good this study is. I was kind of laughed when I first saw it, but there's probably some truth in it too. You probably don't have a lot of shrinking violets that get into the stock market and work at the highest levels that can really move the market. Researchers simulated trading floors in a lab and had volunteers buy and sell assets among themselves while they measured the volunteers' natural hormone levels and artificially raised and lowered them in others. They say that, of course, as testosterone goes higher, risk-taking becomes much more extensive. I'm wondering if we're going to have an Apple iWatch watch our hormone levels at traders going into the future. I doubt it. I think hotheads are hotheads, regardless of the hormones. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
A lot of discussion in the Tiger's Den here today about Sir John Templeton. You know, I read some of the early stuff when I was first getting started, and that had to be earlier than 2000. About what was going on with him and his trading and everything else. The only thing I really remembered was a pretty famous quote, and he had it nailed on traders' doors that went to work for him. And it was a plaque that said, "The most dangerous words in trading are, this time it's different." And everybody had to memorize that, say it 1 million times or something to work at his firm. He said it was the most dangerous thing, and the one that changed his life when he understood that the patterns that had happened before will happen again because people are trapped by their nature. But we'll see. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting to see this article about traders. You can Google and find it here, but it's kind of interesting to see that they're blaming men's base nature and testosterone. I can say it now. I don't know why I couldn't say it before. On bad trading. But that's interesting. Like I said, crude's not really going anywhere. One of the most interesting things, though, is that the first time in 6 months, U.S. oil rigs rose by 12 to 640. First increase since December 5th of 2014. So as prices started going back up a little bit, at least a few of these are back in service now. and probably going to add a little bit of supply. I've been looking for crude to come back to the 55 to 53 range. We're about halfway there. I suspect maybe we see that 53 in the next week or two. I think it's going to be slow and easy back down to that 53 level. I suspect that 55 is kind of a center point going forward for crude, at least through the summer, unless we get some kind of giant headline risk kind of news in oil, like the Iranians blowing something up or something like that, which can always happen. But I think the natural price seems to, at least the market is pointing to somewhere around $55 a barrel. And as soon as we saw these rigs come up, we saw crude go down, which is probably pretty correct for supply and demand. Also speaking on oil, police have nabbed yet another high-ranking executive from Petrobras. It's unclear whether this person can actually tie back to the current president of Brazil. She's knee-deep in it and was meeting with the president of the United States yesterday. But it looks like corruption, fraudulent tenders, embezzlement of public funds, capital flight, and money laundering are all the things that he's going to get charged with. The question is whether or not any of these people flip on the lady that runs the show down there in Brazil. But she looks like she's probably one of those people that needs to wear hip waders because everything's probably illegal and or graft or fraud or a combination of all those things in South America. Probably nothing new down there. Fund buying, of course, has come and gone for the most part. We might see a couple of minutes of it first thing for people that actually took the entire week off for the fund. They're supposed to be 100% invested by the 3rd of the month. Of course, this is the 2nd. So are they going to use kind of a loophole to buy some stuff Monday morning? I think a few people are. I think that they would just rather wait and see what happened. So we might see some very quick fund buying Monday morning, but I think it's 95% done. There may be some money sitting over on the sidelines but that's probably it. I don't think that it's going to last very long, but we might see a little hot shot come Monday morning with the right news for some of these funds that have the last few drachmas laying around that they haven't done, but that we have not been able to have a significant rally today in fund buying is extremely telling. We're off 5 points on the S&P cash, 1.9 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, and that probably tells you everything that you need to know. We're going out like a lamb, not a lion, into this weekend. We have some stocks we want to look at, and I'll get into them as soon as I'm done with the snooze. And we're almost there. A little bit more of a Tech Insider because we're not going to be here tomorrow. Remembering Jobs. A new movie is coming out in October for Steve Jobs. Some of the trailers have already leaked. And I got a little bit of hate mail for when Mr. Jobs died. Now that's, what, 2 years ago, whatever. We'll talk about it a little bit. I kind of told everybody this guy's not like the public persona Apple had been pushing. We'll be back. We'll talk about it a little bit more.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you're always looking for ways to diversify your financial portfolio. Everbank's innovative Market Safe CD can help you diversify while protecting your principal deposit. In fact, Everbank unveiled a new 5-year Market Safe Power Metal CD, which combines the power of gold, silver, and copper. Metal prices are currently low, so this CD could really deliver. Consider the facts. You get exposure to 3 valuable metals in one index CD and have the potential to earn up to 45% capped upside payment at maturity if the metals increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should they decrease? No worries. There's zero risk to your principal here, as you still get 100% of it back. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. No annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest is paid on the CD. Intrigued yet? The July 9th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is a member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Anyway, we're talking a little bit. I got a little bit of heck when I talked about Steve Jobs and an unflattering review, I think, on a Tech Insider once. I think it's right after he died. And I was wondering when the truth was going to come out. We were talking about GE being formed on this day also, but of course, that gentleman, pretty horrifically bad individual himself. He may have invented the light bulb, but he stole everything else. Steve Jobs kind of he patterned himself out of after a lot of those gentlemen. But I think it was every Friday now, I can't remember, I would get a copy of a magazine called InfoWorld in the 80s. And in the back pages of it, there was a thing called Kringley X, who is a gentleman, and you could either fax him or leave messages on his answering machine if you wanted to get the dirt out about it, your company and maybe the company you were working for or another company, of news items coming out or people acting badly. It was kind of the Twitter or Instagram of people posting incriminating evidence against people acting extremely badly. And it seemed like every single week his column would come out with something highly embarrassing and detrimental to him. The main press always ignored it, but he was not a nice guy, and that's putting it mildly. I think he had a severe problem. I don't know what it was, But some people say it's Asperger's, but he knew a lot about how to manipulate people, and I think he just did it too much. As I always say, of course, Hitler made the trains run on time, and you're not just one thing that you do, you are some of your parts. That's why I never thought that he was a great man. They were talking about Sir John Templeton being a great man, both in and out of trading and doing something with his life when he was done it. Steve Jobs, not really much of that out there. Anyway, movie's coming out in October. It is probably going to paint a fairly good and accurate picture of the real Steve Jobs. And there's more than a little bit of mud being thrown around now because some of the people that are in the Jobs camp don't like it. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see a real critique of what the man was, short of just being successful in business. But if the truth would come out of most of the stuff that was in InfoWorld and Kringley X's column, I think most people would have had him crucified. He was not a nice guy, but a horrible, horrible human being to the people he worked with. And when you compare him to the Microsoft guys, they come off smelling like a rose. But we'll move on. A lot of inner demons, someone said. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. A lot of, it's a mad, 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 mad market out here. We have a special guest out here today, and we're going to get into the charts fairly quickly. But again, I wanted to get a little of this Tech Insider stuff out of the way since we will not be on tomorrow. Everybody's closed, of course. And I wanted to say that I just wanted to talk about Microsoft for a minute, MSFT. The reason why is I think we got what they call the RTM, the release to manufacturing copy, or something very close to it, and I installed it over the last couple of days. They are saying that Windows 10 will come out in July 29th. They're going to roll it out slowly. Everybody that goes out and gets it, they're going to try to, at least if you're upgrading for free, are going to do it slowly so they don't tax their systems, do some other stuff. But I've been playing with it. The new version I got had about 300 fixes in it. I'm not running on it here. I do have it on another machine over here. But I got to really get a fixed version of Cortana up and running, and I think that it's very interesting. I've wired Miss Cortana in. We're going to play with it for just a few minutes so you know what's going on. But Cortana is a digital assistant, kind of like Siri. Think about Siri, maybe cross-reference it with a little bit with the Google app that does similar stuff. Probably the biggest difference is that you can launch apps with it on your desktop, and it's integrated into the new browser that they've built called Edge. But I've been playing with it for a couple of days. Very, very neat. I have to say that it's been a long time since I've been excited. I liked Windows 7 just because it wasn't Windows Vista. They cured all the problems with it. Windows 8, 8.1, nah, just wasn't worth playing with. But it really looks like they've listened to almost 2 million beta testers for Windows 10. And I'm glad that one little thing came in before they released to manufacturing that I'd been complaining about and trying to get a lot of people to get a petition up to get it done. I don't know if they were planning on doing it all the time, but they fixed the one little thing that would make it easy for me to use it, and it's called the hamburger menu. They call it hamburger because it's got 3 little lines. They're all the same, but they're one on top of each other, and it looks like the center one's got a little bit more to it, so it looks like meat between 2 pieces of bread like a hamburger. And they're calling it the hamburger menu for, maybe they'll come up with another name when they launch the product, but it's kind of tough. But I wanted to bring Cortana on today just so you have a little taste. We've got some people asking about charts, which we'll look at before the end of the show. Hey, Cortana, who's your father? Are you on there? Hey, Cortana. Ah! Do it next segment. Did I turn it off? Did I turn it down? Did it break? Hey, Cortana. Hey, Cortana. Nope. It's not running right now. We'll do it later. Anyway, we had some people. I'll try it, test it, the break, and find out why the reason is. I knew there was a reason I'm boycotting Apple. Okay. Question in the den was Buffalo Wild Wings, BWLD. People that listen to my show all the time know that I was complaining about Buffalo Wild Wings price increases. And, of course, you never knew. They just continually kept raising prices. And, of course, that's why the stock went up. But eventually everybody quit going to it. And that's that huge gap down that you see not too long ago. The move out here was on the 29th of April. It came down with huge volume. It's back up here. I take it the question is whether or not I would reshort it. I think you want about 170 on this thing, 173, 172. I'd want to be about halfway into that gap to reshort it. It may not give you that. In fact, it's incredibly weak now, but you'd probably want something like that to get it get into it. But I was saying something in the den, which is I can go out to, there's a couple of Roadhouse restaurants around here, and for the price of getting 12 or 14 wings, some blue cheese, and a couple of celeries, I can go out and buy a T-bone steak or a porterhouse or even a filet, a 6-ounce filet at another one. And the question is, do you really want to spend that kind of money for wings? And I guess it's a nice environment if you like sports. But to me, I can go to those other restaurants, and they got TVs and sports too. I always knew that there was probably some problem. You didn't really know that it had hit, of course, until the earnings report came out and the thing got smacked. But I don't see him dropping the prices. And I even at the half, when I was talking about 12 wings, I'm talking about 12 wings at half price on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think chicken lumps are actually on Thursdays, chicken wings on Tuesdays, but I can still get a nice steak dinner. And to me, that's just ridiculous to get wings at the price of a very nice filet dinner. So it's kind of hard for me to go there much anymore. And they just continually raise prices. So I don't know what else you can do. There's another place around that started all you can eat wings. And my group of trivia players have all moved, and that's why I haven't probably been to Buffalo Wild Wings in 90 days, maybe a little bit more. I don't think it's going to get any better. The problem is that where do you safely enter this thing? And I think it's 172. AND. And by the way, you probably want out of it come football season. So you got maybe a month or two out here where you might get a nice play on this. Global FTSE, and I don't really have a good call on this one. Let's take a look at CMG. Now, CMG has much bigger problems out here, and those problems revolve around food costs. If you look at the jump in grains this week and the problems with chickens and the problem with pork and the problems everywhere, I don't know if those prices issues are going to be anytime soon. The chart doesn't look all that bad out here. I can see what they're looking at in this. To me, this is probably in some kind of trading range. I've also seen some reports that by probably October to November, a lot of the chicken problems are going to be over for the Midwest and pretty much totally over by February. So you got to kind of put this also in your, going back to Buffalo Wild Wings too, you got to say that prices are probably going to get better for them on the wholesale level of both Chipotle. I don't know about swine and pig bellies and all that stuff. Maybe that's a good question to ask Andy. I think he'll be in the second hour of the Tom O'Brien show today. I know that's been a big problem, and of course they're all against genetically modified foods. And guess what? All the farmers are making and growing genetically modified foods because guess what? They're going to get paid off. The insurance for the non-genetically modified foods is going up. So you may hate it, and you may love the fact that they have food with integrity. But my guess is this thing is in a lower trading range up to about 650. Up there, if things don't get any better on the food side, grains remain high, and pork prices remain high, and tough for Chipotle to get and maintain their non-genetically modified stance on product. I think that's the biggest problem out here. Could this thing bust down with the general market? I think the answer is yes, but you got a lot of true believers in CMG, and that's going to be hard to get over. Wing Wars, that's what we're going to have. I'm going to have a new show on USA, a new reality show, Wing Wars, where I run around trying to find the cheapest prices on wings because I'm morally objecting to paying that price for wings when I can get a nice steak for it. Boy, looks like the market's stuck. I'm going to hit the TV here, but we'll continue on. What else do I want to look at? Oh, there's a few things out here. Wanted to look at a few stocks before we go into the break. Maybe I'll get Mrs. Cortana moving. Maybe I forgot to do something. I thought we had it. Hey, Cortana. Oh, she's there. Who's your father? No, she's not getting interesting. Hey, Cortana. Tell me a joke.
Two antennas got married. The ceremony dragged on, but the reception was excellent.
Hey, Cortana. Who's your father?
Technically speaking, that'd be Bill Gates. No big deal.
Hey, Cortana. What's the current stock price of Microsoft?
Microsoft is at 44.25, trading down 0.45%.
Hey, Cortana. What does the rest of my day look like?
You have 3 events today. At 4 p.m., meeting with Wingspan. At 5 p.m., meeting with Janet Yellen. And at 6 p.m., meeting with Elon Musk.
Well, it looks like I have a big day to go out here, but I've been talking about this for a while. It's now starting to get a lot better, at least the word recognition. It's probably as good as Siri. My guess, though, is it's going to go a lot farther. That's just one point of Windows 10. But to tell you the truth, it's very nice. What you can't see here, because it's actually running on another computer, is that it will pop up. If it can't find an answer that it can talk back at to you, it will go ahead and use Bing to find an answer and pop it up in a Bing search window, and you can see all the different things going on out there. Hey, Cortana. Are you smart?
Well, I'm good with facts, like I can tell you who the coolest person in the world is.
Well, maybe we'll find out who the coolest person in the world is when we come back. Anyway, market's going nowhere fast, off 4 points on the S&P cash.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Windows 10 today, and because a lot of people are, it's a free upgrade. A lot of people are going to start using it. I think it's going to make a lot of changes in technology over the next year. I think one of the biggest things is the ability now to start including this kind of voice technology in apps. If you're a programmer, you can write and include Cortana's capabilities inside it. You can also set up your machine to launch programs by voice control, especially people that maybe aren't fast typists or can't see well. A lot more moving on in what they call the NUI, the natural user interface. But kind of interesting to play with the capabilities. Hey, Cortana. These demo versions, one of the things is that that it's not always on at Microsoft, because it actually sends the thing to Microsoft's servers and then sends back. And it depends if they're too busy to send the data back yet. But this is all beta software. Hey, Cortana. Tell me a story.
He was a superhero. She could talk to animals. In their 40 years together, they saved a lot of kittens from a lot of trees.
Well, Cortana. No. Hey, Cortana. Goodbye.
Take it easy.
Okay, well, we're done with her for the day. It's kind of fun to play with, but a lot of the capabilities, like I said, like launching programs, especially, I guess the idea is they're hoping to get everybody fired up and using it, and then, of course, having it geared to a Windows phone and maybe eventually getting that part of their business going on. But the idea is they're going to also launch apps for both Apple and for Android too. So you'll be able to use other phones. When you go to set it up, you can put in your phone as an Android or an iPhone. I don't know. I haven't played with that part too far yet, but it looks like they're not going to make you or force you into it. There will just be some additional features if you do buy Windows phones. I don't know if that's ever going to take off. They're just going to give up on it or what. But they're hoping that since when you write for Windows 10, if you write for a phone, you basically write for a tablet, and you write for the desktop all at once, that there will be a groundswell of apps over time, and that they'll move to the tablet and the phone interface. I have to tell you that it has been a long time since I've been excited about a new operating system. I've just used it because it was better and not as buggy as the one before. This one actually opens up a great deal of new things for the programmer and for Microsoft themselves too. Is there anything else that I wanted to look at before we go to the break? Qualcomm, interesting technology. They got some new chips coming out. I wrote about it in the Tech Insider today. You can always go to the front page of TFNN and check under newsletters. If you want my longer-term newsletter, it is called the Tech Insider. And, of course, technology trading on a longer scale. And, of course, my daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance. We made a good score on the VIX this week and exited with, what was it? Somewhere between 36 and 40%. I can't remember exactly why on our VIX trade. I think we're going to be looking for that again. So you have two choices out there. But all you have to do is go to the front page of TFNN. As I said, Tom O'Brien will be following me in the next 2 hours. Andy Heck will be in the second hour, the second half of the second hour with Tom O'Brien, and won't be doing his 5 o'clock show. So you may want to tune in there too if you were looking for Andy. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you Monday. Same bat channel, channel 14 on Tiger TV, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.